after what seems to be a long break. And it's sad because I actually got podcast episodes recorded for Wrasslin with Saint. Welcome to Wrasslin with Saint, or welcome back, rather. It's been a minute. I have episodes of this. I have not released them. I had a Charlotte Becky one. I had multiple episodes that I have not been able to release because dealing with the football podcast. But I got to be better. Another reason that I hadn't been releasing them is because I hadn't been able to watch Raw or SmackDown. I haven't been able to watch Raw because I've been working on Mondays, and when I do come home, I have to immediately start recording my podcast for Kicking It with Saint in the games of the week that happened on Sunday, or I have to watch the game that happened on Monday to do that. So I don't really ever have the time to sit down and watch wrestling like I did before football season started, and that's on me. Because some of the games on Monday done been pretty good. I also hadn't been able to watch SmackDown the last couple weeks because the fucking World Series been on. I think SmackDown just came back this last week on Fox, or the station that I get it on. And I didn't know how to get SmackDown on all these other stations. Like I looked everywhere for that shit, bro. Everywhere to try to watch it. Couldn't watch it. I don't understand why Peacock, and this is much like I didn't understand how the WWE network don't let you watch Raw and SmackDown live on the fucking networks. Like, to me, that don't really make too much sense. Like, I understand the TV deal and whatnot, so they need it, but to me, you should still be able to watch the shit on the stream. But that's neither here nor there. I was able to watch SmackDown this week. So, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the podcast, I appreciate you for stopping by. You might have already done dipped out, but for the people who is still here, we do something before every podcast start. We take a hit of you know what, so let's go ahead and do that. How y'all doing, man? How was y'all day? Y'all chilling, kicking it? Sweet. Welcome to Wrasslin with Saint, man. It's been a minute. Like I said, it's been a minute. But Friday night SmackDown, I was able to watch it tonight. Now, I watched the whole show, but I was watching bits and pieces of it for some reason because I was doing shit while I was watching it, but I was watching it. The big things that happened tonight, for me at least, from watching it. For one, this ain't a big thing. This is just something I observe when I watch it. So I've been away from SmackDown for a little minute, so I did not realize that Sasha Banks is a fucking babyface again. So the show started off with the women, Sasha, Naomi, Sonya, the big homie, SB, Shayna Baszler, Aaliyah, who is a new wrestler on the main roster. Now, one of the wrestlers who was there, I cannot remember her name. Natalya was there too. Now, the last woman there, I do not know her name. I cannot remember her name to save my life, and I should have wrote it down. I didn't. Apologies for that. So I'm gonna just call her the tattooed, green-haired, emerald-haired goddess, because I cannot remember her name, and I don't want to disrespect her by calling her something weird or some shit like that. So I'm gonna just call her the tattooed, emerald-haired goddess. But we ain't talking about Rhea Ripley, though, because I know Rhea's name. I can't remember this female's name, though. But that's how the show started. They got into a little brawl, then it turned into a bust down, a 3v3 match, tag team match. And it was a good match, too. Like, this was a good match. This is how... So, Aaliyah is a babyface also. Now, I was confused at first because I thought this was like Rey Mysterio's daughter, Aaliyah, but they don't look nothing alike. And I did the research, and I went and checked it out. This is a completely different Aaliyah. Her mannerisms, or do you call it wubberisms, since it's a female? I don't know, but her mannerisms was very funny to me in the when they was talking and shit. Like, just go look at the replays of when the fight started and how she was just standing there like, what the fuck am I doing out here? And then go look at the tag team match when she got tagged in towards the end and she waited like it was like a little pause, like, oh shit, I just got tagged. It's pretty dope. She's a good wrestler too, from what I was seeing out there. I like that shit. Like, she was going. This was a non-stop match to me. Like, this is how you should be booking women tag team, not even just women. This is how tag team match was specifically for women, because they don't give women a lot of time in the WWE sometimes. Now, this is not me getting on here saying, oh, the WWE do women so dirty. That was back in the day. They have done a lot for women's wrestling. Now, the biggest female wrestlers in the world fight in WWE. It is what it is. I look at Sasha. I look at Sasha, Bayley, Becky, Bianca is just as big as most of the dude wrestlers on the roster. Like, to me, they is as big as the dudes on some of the dudes on the roster. Really, the only dudes that's really bigger than him is my tribal chief, who is now my king, Roman Reigns, our tribal chief, after dethroning. Listen, he who wears the crown, but we'll get to that in down the line. But listen, it started off with the 6-woman tag team. I keep wanting to say 6-man, 6-female, 6-woman tag team, and it, like I said, it was a good match. I like all the different I like the pace of it. Say that I like the pace of the match. It wasn't slow. It wasn't like, because my complaint with some of the female matches sometimes is like, I feel like WWE really do them dirty when some of their matches, because all the moves look choreographed. But then I came to the realization that's not WWE. That's the women that's in there wrestling. Sometimes they'll put women in there who far better than the opponent that they have in the ring, and because the women don't get the time that the men get sometimes, they don't really know how to work with that person. Like Lana, I'm not trying to single out Lana, but Lana, the first person that came to my head. A lot of Lana's matches is not really good looking matches. It look a lot like choreographed matches. Look at some of the matches Naomi had with some of the lesser talented women, and all of these women is talented. I'm not taking a shot, because the same thing I'm saying about them I can say for the dudes later in the podcast. But look at some of Naomi's matches against some of her weaker opponents, like the opponents who nowhere near as good as her in the ring, and look at how she had to carry those. Or look at look at Charlotte. Even Charlotte had matches where it looked like it's some choreographed shit in there for the other opponent, because she trying to help the other opponent. But this match didn't look like it. This was flying. It was going back and forth. I like that. I hate it when it's these pauses. Like, if you go watch TNA, because I can't speak on AEW. I don't watch AEW no more. I watched that for like a month and I was over it. But TNA. So TNA, I grew up watching TNA, right? It's called Impact now. Look at some of their matches. And this ain't just the females. Go look at TNA matches, period. Anybody. Now, it might have gotten better recently. I haven't watched it recently. But go watch TNA's matches from Impact's matches from about a year, 2, 3 years ago. All of the matches look damn near choreographed. Like, it's not good wrestling matches in my opinion, because it's not a flow. It's a stop, pause, do your move, let's keep. You know what I'm saying? It's not like fluid. It don't look seamless when they in there. And so that's what happened to the female wrestlers a lot, in my opinion, when it comes to the WWE. But this match tonight was seamless, and I like how it ended. So Aaliyah ended up getting the win off of a lot of counters. So I said this before. I haven't said it on the podcast, but I've said this before just in my everyday life, and I done tweeted it. It was a time where Samoa Joe was calling Sasha's matches, and he was like, Sasha is the greatest counter wrestler in WWE. And I thought about it, and I started looking at her matches. I'm like, yo, Sasha really is the best counter wrestler in the WWE. She got a lot of dope ass maneuvers off of counters, and that's kind of how it happened again tonight. Like, Sasha's counter moves, and I like shit like that, how Samoa Joe honed in on that so people could realize, like, she's not just a great wrestler. What is something that she's great at, better than everybody else at? Counter wrestling. She is a phenomenal counter wrestling for some reason. Not for some reason, but she's a great counter wrestler. Better than most as far as counter. Another person who I think is a great counter wrestler is Bobby Lashley. To me, Bobby have a lot of dope ass counters and shit, but none to me are like Sasha. Sasha is really a dope ass counter wrestler. But it was Sasha, Naomi, and Aaliyah. Aaliyah is the new baby face, I guess, and they trying to build her up, and I already like her just because of her mannerisms and whatnot, and her spunk. Like, to me, she kind of gave me Bianca vibes, like a natural baby face that wasn't really trying. You knew she was a baby face, you wanted to cheer for her and whatnot, so it made it better when what happened after the match happened. But Aaliyah ended up getting the win. She pinned, because they tried to cheat. Who did she pin? I believe she pinned Natalya, and that's a good thing. They didn't end up giving the pin, letting her pin the tattoo emerald haired goddess, because she young too, so you don't want her to get an L already. Natalya can take this L. So Natalya, and I'm glad Shayna Baszler didn't get pinned also, Cause Shayna is a top. That's one of my favorites. So I'm glad she didn't take the pin. She should continue to be built like she being built. But Aaliyah got the pin over Natalya tried to put her foot on the ropes or whatever. She tried to make her tap out to a sharpshooter, and she had her hands on the rope. And Naomi came in and gave her a little, you know how they I don't know how I forgot the name of this shit, but she basically grabbed her head and bounced it off the ropes, her neck off the ropes basically, and then Aaliyah rolled it over with that momentum and turned it into a dope ass looking pin with her legs still in the lock. That shit was fire. And this is what I like the most about the match, and this is what I always love about matches. After they won, Aaliyah got the pin, she went stupid. She showed how, because that's the type of shit people gravitate to, emotions. They want to see people with emotions. We get tired of seeing wrestlers always act like been here, done that. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it might give off the impression it's not as important now. Aaliyah, you could see she was stoked about this win. Like, she was feeling it. And her Sasha, who probably will turn heel down the road somewhere in the next month or two. But right now, she was celebrating with her, as was Naomi. It was a big thing. After the match, somewhere in the hallway, Aaliyah was pulled from the match on Sunday in the Survivor Series, Raw versus SmackDown women, the women tag team match. She was pulled from that match, and I believe it was because she, obviously they pushing her now. They finna give her a nice little push. I hope that don't put Naomi's push on the back burner. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you can build both of them at the same time and not kill Naomi's push. But I like the little seeds they planting. Because Aaliyah could be a great baby face already. Just off of what I done seen already. She already going to be a good baby face. But that was a dope match. That was a dope way to start the show. That was a dope way to have the first match of the show. I like the whole first segment. I like the whole first segment of the show, bro. Shit was fire. Now, this next part is where it get a little fishy. Because only 3 parts of the show I remember very vividly. Because to me, they was the 3 most important parts of the show. So the next part of the show get a little bit fishy. That's why I be saying these ain't really breakdowns from Friday night or Monday night. It's just the important shit that I saw. If I happen to go over everything that happened in the show, then that's dope. But I'm not really rating the show and shit like that. I like every single WWE show I watch. If it was really bad, then I would say it. But very rare that I hate a whole show all the way through. But you had your shit with Sam. I think Sammy got kicked off of fucking Team SmackDown tonight when he lost to Jeff. Bro, let me say something. I don't like Jeff Hardy. Well, I don't want to say it like that. Because that make it sound like, oh, I don't like this motherfucker. No. I've never been a Jeff Hardy fan of the wrestler. The human, the shit he do outside, that ain't got shit to do with me. I do not tend to other people's businesses. That's Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy in the fucking ring, I ain't never been a fan of, because I ain't never been a fan of high flyers, really. Like, at one point in time, I was a fan of high flyers when I was very young, and that shit was very amusing and entertaining to me. As I got older, though, and I started fighting and shit like that, high flying was not something that I cared about, because I realized when I was fighting and I started doing all type of fighting and shit, nobody does that shit. And in fact, I know this is WWE. Trust me, I'm not. But it's just that always stuck with me. Like, motherfuckers ain't doing backflips and cartwheels and shit like that when we fighting. So I don't care for anything. Now, it take a real good wrestler to be able to do that shit and have me entertained. But to me, it's the wrestlers who can do that shit and still keep a grounded offense. Like, they ain't just jumping out through the air like Evan Bourne, basically, bro. Like, wrestlers whose entire offense is on the top rope and flying through the air and shit. Yeah, I'm all the way sleep on that. Y'all gotta understand, I didn't like Rey Mysterio for the longest. I'm still really not a Rey Mysterio fan, but he got some drip. I realized over the years, this motherfucker probably got the meanest drip in the WWE, bruh. But I never was a Rey Mysterio guy. Did like motherfuckers fly through the air and shit, bro. And I wish they had a split Rey Mysterio and Dominique up. I wish one of them had went to Raw and one had went to SmackDown, but maybe it was Rey Mysterio's request that they both stayed on the same shows or went to the same show. But I'm over the Rey Mysterio Dominic storyline. Like, you gotta let that motherfucker grow, Ray. I love that Bobby Lashley destroyed him on Monday. I was wondering where the fuck Lashley was at. I saw them announce Team Raw, and I didn't see Lashley on that motherfucker. Also, I don't like how Lashley lost his title to Big E still. To me, that was a match that should have happened down the line at WrestleMania. E could have been crowned at Mania. To me, it lost some of the thrill when they just randomly hit him with it on a random week. Maybe Lashley was hurt or something and was recovering or something like that, because Lashley is an older dude, but I don't know. I didn't like how he lost it. I hope Lashley get reinserted back into the main title picture, because I love Lashley as a champion. I'm going to just be honest with you. Now, I know you can't have all heel champions again so soon after you just, because Lashley was a champion for a long time. But what I will say is I don't like his run. I did not like his, well, no. Let me change. I don't like the end of his run. Losing to Goldberg is never going to be something I'm okay with. No top star should be losing to fucking Goldberg, which is why I will continue to say whenever I speak on wrestling, Goldberg is bad for wrestling, bro. I don't care what nobody say, bro. Goldberg should not be coming back getting wins, bro. Goldberg wasn't even the big WWE guy. He was in the WCW on the Monday Night Wars when they was going against another company, bro. Goldberg beating Brock was one thing. He can't hurt Brock. Like, he ain't hurting nobody. Beating Brock Lesnar is gonna hurt his image. It's Brock Lesnar, bro. But this motherfucker beating other dudes, and listen, it won't hurt Lashley's thing, because obviously Lashley was a real life MMA star and all that, and he been built properly. But I'm just saying, bro, this motherfucker Goldberg should not be coming in beating people. He can't give people good matches. So I don't understand why he come in and always get inserted into the big pictures and titles and shit like that, bro. Like, who is asking for this motherfucker still, bruh? Who is walking around saying Goldberg? I wish Goldberg would come back. Like, what? Like, motherfucker, I hear people saying Stone Cold and The Rock I wish they'll come back. I don't hear nobody saying, hey, man, I really wish Goldberg would show back up. Like, what? I hate that they had Lashley lose to that motherfucker, bruh. I hate it. That's the only thing that I consistently have a problem with the WWE. Is bringing this motherfucker Goldberg back. I don't have a problem when they bring Brock. Well, I'm never going to have a problem with it. For one, Brock is a WWE guy. Two, Brock's character is amazing. One of the best characters in WWE history. I have no problem with that. Fuck Goldberg. Goldberg ain't been around forever. Brock been around forever. That motherfucker ain't paid no dues, man. And he don't even come back and give dudes good win. Like, bro, you knew Drew was beating him, bro. If Braun lost to him, that'll pit. No, Braun beat him, but that did nothing for Braun. Then they had him beat the Fiend. Like, oh man, you gotta understand. I don't even like the Fiend. I hated that character, and I was pissed when he lost to fucking Goldberg. I'm like, man, I don't want to be disrespectful, bro. But Goldberg's a joke to me, bro. He does not do anything for wrestlers, bro. He doesn't push their character forward. He doesn't give them some type of pop. Like, he does nothing for a storyline. Goldberg is of no use to any wrestler at this moment, bro. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but Goldberg brings nothing to the table for any wrestler in the WWE right now. It's nothing that he can add or take. He can only take away. He can only hurt wrestlers at this moment. Nobody cares about beating Goldberg at this moment, bro. But Goldberg beating another character that's up and coming or that's been doing it, people are going to always be pissed off about it. And that's the only thing that I really can say that I agree with most crazy ass fans, wrestling fans with. I don't fucking like Goldberg, bro. And you know what's crazy? At first, I didn't really too much care about it, because the fans talking and the shit they do, that never influences my opinion. But the more and more I started looking at it, I was like, these motherfuckers is right about this motherfucker, bro. Like, the first time he came, cool. The Brock Lesnar story, like I said, a completely different situation. Now, no, bro. I don't like that that's how Lashley's reign ended, so I hope they can clean that shit up and get him back on track. Now, another thing that happened, so Sami Zayn, and I was talking about Jeff Hardy. I don't know how I got so sidetracked. Jeff Hardy's Swanton Bomb. Like I said, I never been a Jeff Hardy guy because I never really was into his style of wrestling. That Swanton Bomb he performed, though, still a thing of beauty. He performed it tonight, and that shit was clean as a motherfucker. So he is in. I believe Sami Zayn is out. That motherfucker Sami can't catch a break, bro. He was in the back talking to the mirror at one point in time before Jeff walked in, bro. And he demanded Adam Pearce to get. I guess Adam Pearce got him a bodyguard now or some shit like that. Like, that's gonna help him. I guess he got tired of getting bitched around by Roman. Like, that shit gonna do something, bro. But so I'm guessing Sammy's not in the match on Sunday. I'm guessing. They also showed a clip of Kevin Owens turning heel. Surprise, surprise. Riddle me shocked. Owens is a heel again. Now listen, I'm glad Kevin Owens is a heel because that's Kevin Owens. He does his best work as a heel, in my opinion. I think face Kevin Owens is cheese. I don't think he's a good face. I don't think he's ever at no point in time in his career been good at being a face, a baby face. He was born to be a heel just like a lot of other wrestlers. I feel like sometimes WWE get these situations where they got too many heels on the roster or whatever, so they turn somebody face, and they always make the mistake of turning this motherfucker KO face, bro. Every time. But I guess Big E needed an opponent. I hope Big E don't drop that title till he drop it to Lashley, bro. Dead ass, bro. I want Lashley to get that belt back. Oh, yo, I also want to shout out Damien Priest, bro. Yo, this motherfucker Damien Priest, go look at him when he got on the main roster and look at him now. This motherfucker's transformation that he done made with his body, bro. I respect the hell out of that, bro. That motherfucker came in, and I'm not saying he was out of shape when he came in or nothing like that. And I know somebody from, oh, you looking at this dude's body? I mean, motherfucker, they wrestle with no shirts on. Like, what? They wrestle in basically tight thongs. Like, what are you doing? What are we talking about right now? But Damien Priest's body transformation since getting on the main roster, amazing. This is why I fuck with Damien Priest. I didn't know how to feel about him at first. I didn't really like his gimmick. I thought it was a little stupid for a motherfucker that big and that old. But the more and more Damien Priest has been on the main roster, the more and more he's grown on me. I like Damien Priest a lot. Like, I really like Damien Priest. So I just wanted to shout that out real fast on his transformation that he done made since starting on the main roster and where he is now. Because some people don't pay attention to shit like that, but I do. And so I just think that's dope. But, it ain't like the motherfucker went away one size and came back like John Cena, bro. If you don't know nothing about that, go look it up. But that motherfucker John Cena came, left looking one way, came back big as hell. But anyways. It was another spot on tonight's episode of and something that I should mention. The tattoo emerald haired goddess had got into it with Sasha as soon as they got into the ring. So I guess they got some type of beef going on, bro. But Charlotte had came out, and I might be skipping some shit that happened, but I'm hopping from SmackDown and Raw. So, you know what I'm saying? Follow along. But Charlotte had came out. Now y'all know I love Charlotte. Charlotte and Bayley and Bianca is my favorite female wrestlers in the WWE or in wrestling period right now. So, and I saw Bayley, I saw her at a Laker game or some shit like that. They took a picture of. She got that shit on her leg, dog. So she ain't gonna be ready to come back for a minute. I hope when she get back, she go to Raw, though. I wouldn't understand putting her on SmackDown. Either way, Charlotte was coming out tonight, and you know Charlotte fight Becky on Sunday, I believe, and I'm hoping Charlotte win that. But I'm intrigued by that because I don't know who gonna win. I think they're gonna give the win to Becky. I hope it's a distraction finish or something like. I don't want neither one of these motherfuckers to lose. Let me change that. I don't want Charlotte to lose clean. Charlotte done gave enough L's. She done gave enough wins to Becky over that little run where they was trying to repackage Becky and make her look like a winner after years of losing. But Charlotte's cut a promo tonight basically saying that to me, this is how you should be building Charlotte. You need, I done said this multiple times, you got to lean full in on the asshole Charlotte. She should be getting booked as Roman. Now, she ain't as big as Roman right now because you've been doing this shit with Roman since, a couple SummerSlams ago. But just think about it for a second. So everybody hates Charlotte and shit. Like, I don't hate Charlotte. A lot of people hate Charlotte, even though that's probably changing because she was not getting booed out of SmackDown like she was getting booed like a couple months ago just because people hate Charlotte because they say she win too much. Charlotte is getting cheered, bro. People are fucking standing up cheering for her when she's coming out. Like, go look at SmackDown tonight. That was not a fucking heel getting booed. That was a heel getting acknowledgement like Roman, where people like, yeah, she is the shit. So she got in the ring and cut her promo. Basically was like, I am the superstar maker. Like, when people lose to me, when they beat me, excuse me, they become superstars. And that's a fact. See, you might not want to admit it, but when it comes to the female wrestling over the last couple years, think of the biggest matches. Most of them involve, and I'm not talking about going to NXT. Damn. But I'm not talking about NXT, because I know a lot of people who watch will immediately bring up Bayley, Sasha. We're not talking about that. We're years from that match. I'm talking about since they've been on the main roster. The top matches on the main roster as far as female wrestlers usually involve Charlotte v. Asuka, Charlotte v. Becky with Ronda Rousey, Charlotte v. Sasha. And I just want to say, to this day, to me, Charlotte's best matches are against Sasha, which is why I'm happy that Sasha is on the same show with Charlotte again, because I've been wanting to see these two motherfuckers wrestle again for the longest. And just the 1v1 match against. See, that's the motherfucker who. Well, listen, I don't care if that. To me, Charlotte don't mind losing to Sasha, because they got, for one, they was tearing it up at the beginning of the Women's Revolution on Raw, having just knocked the house down moments. It's a shame that they didn't get the headline WrestleMania first. I love Bianca and Sasha, and I'm happy they got the main event. But Sasha and Charlotte was just a miss, because that should have been a fucking WrestleMania match. Main event. That match between those two on Raw when they was going at it all the time was gold, bruh. I'm telling you, go back and look at some of them Sasha v. Charlotte matches. Them shits was lit. And then go look at some of them Charlotte v. Asuka matches. All of them shits was lit. I'm telling you, bro. Charlotte is next level, bro, in the ring. Now, I'm not going to say she the greatest on the mic. I actually think the best female on the mic is Bayley. I think Bayley, since turning heel, just went to another level on the mic. Now, I do think Sasha is good on the mic. I do think Charlotte is good on the mic. I think most of the divas, forgive me. I think most of the women are good on the mic, aside from Becky. To me, Becky is very hit or miss. Very hit or miss. And most of the time, it's a miss for me. But I'm not going to disrespect her and just say she absolutely trash. But it is hit or miss for me sometimes. And everybody can be hit or miss, but I'm talking about who is consistently hit or miss. Becky is consistently hitting or missing for me. But out came Toni Storm. I'm glad that I knew her name. But she challenged Charlotte to a match towards the end of her promo. And it was so funny because I knew what I wanted to happen, but I didn't know if it was going to happen. But it did. And when it happened, I was like, thank you. WWE know what the fuck they be doing sometimes. Most of the time. I'm not a WWE hater. But Charlotte was like, let me think about it. No. And I like that because it feed into what she was just saying. Basically, I am the opportunity. I'm the one who created this for y'all. So basically, nothing that if I wrestle you, Tony, what does that do for me? Nothing. They're just going to boo me and say, oh, I'm burying another up-and-coming star, blah, blah, blah. I get nothing from beating you. What do you get from beating me? Oh, she just beat Charlotte Flair. That's what you get, and possibly the title. So there is so much for me to lose, absolutely nothing for me to gain. No. I like that. That's realistic. That's what a badass or dickhead would do in real life when they weigh the odds. You got to think, man, Floyd was doing this his whole career. It's a lot of pro fighters and pro wrestlers and shit. This is top heel work. This is top heel work. And I like that they do this because Roman Reigns don't turn down fights all the time, right? He don't do this type of thing where he like, nah, you're not worth it. He gave Finn that fight, right? He gave the lesser talents those fights. Charlotte finally say, nah, you're not worthy. I like that. Two different heels, both doing it big. I like that. Now, some people not gonna appreciate the little shit like that, but I do. I do. Now you can call me a Charlotte pussy sucker. I'll be that. But I just like shit like that. To be shit like that is fire. That's especially when you not booking both of your heels that's on the same show the exact same. Now I'm kind of confused as to why Charlotte and Roman are on the same show. Being is that they probably the two biggest stars in the WWE and the two like biggest things going for the WWE as far as how the WWE and Vince look at them. Don't know why they would be on the same show. Unless you just want your big stars to be on the show that's got the most eyes on it right now. Which would make sense because Charlotte been on Raw for a minute, and I guess Raw don't get the ratings that SmackDown get. But it was a little bit weird to me at first, because the way I look at it is you want one of your stars when you got two of them on one show a piece so that they can both get the ratings. But I get it. You got bozos who hate women wrestling and shit like that. That's weird to me because, like I said, Charlotte got some of the Bayley, Asuka, Sasha, Bianca. Them motherfuckers can go. Naomi, them motherfuckers can go. Okay? So, hey, fuck what you talking about. I love women's wrestling, bro. I love wrestling. But another thing that happened tonight, I like this little segment where Kayla was interviewing Roman, and he was like, bro, what you want? And he was like, what, you either here to bother me or something like that, or to flirt with the wise man. And it's funny because wise man Paul Heyman, Kayla always popping up on him doing interviews, and one time he's like, you're flirting with me, Kayla. So it was a good little callback. I appreciate shit like that. Some people don't, I do. But I'm going to tell you what was funny looking through this whole night, because they kept going over the fact that Roman was finna fight King Woods at the end of the night, and with Roman bend the knee, and they had a fucking graphic of Roman bending the knee, and I'm like, this is so disrespectful. Roman better address this and the dude who created this fucking image next week, bruh. This cannot go untolerated, bruh. It can't. It can't. And I just want to say, Pat McAfee is such a godsend for Raw. For SmackDown. If Raw had an announcer who was as enthused and who loved the business like Pat McAfee, who had no agenda, was just there to make everybody look good and make the show better. Oh man, it'd be crazy. Now listen, Jonathan Saxton done tried to be that, but people just naturally, I guess, done got tired of him or don't like. I don't know. I like Saxton, to be honest with you, but I'm a goofy ass motherfucker, bro. The older I get, the more and more I just appreciate shit. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate Saxton's energy. I just like motherfuckers who act like they want to be there. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers who ain't just showing up every day trying to do the mundane every single day. Oh, just clock in, clock. You know what I'm saying? I like motherfuckers who change up the lines and shit, who ain't hitting us with the same WWE 2K game lines every week. You know what I'm saying? But can we first off, since we finna talk about our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, we need to go ahead and take a minute to acknowledge him. So I'm gonna go ahead and give us this. This ain't a moment of silence. This is a moment of acknowledgement of our tribal chief and now our king, Roman Reigns. You may acknowledge him. We may acknowledge him now. He gonna appreciate that. So Roman Reigns, Xavier Woods. It was a good match. I was thinking this while I was watching this match. This motherfucker Roman Reigns can make anybody look good in the ring, can't he? He about like Brock, where Brock could make... You didn't think Brock could make AJ and Daniel Bryan look that good when he was fighting because you thought it was just going to be an ass beating. And now Roman Reigns... Bruh, remember when we thought Roman wasn't a good... Well, I ain't never said Roman wasn't a good wrestler. My biggest problems with Roman was always the fact that he should not be a face, saying some of the goofy shit he is saying. And you remember they had... Also, we have to take a minute to acknowledge Roman Reigns' theme song. That shit lit. I thought it was lit the very first time I heard it because it gave me that feel like, oh, this is the theme song of a god. And that's exactly what our tribal chief is, but he is also a king. Tonight, he and King Woods, former King Woods, he is now just Xavier Woods again. But while the match was going on, he was still very much King Woods, and they had a great match. And I like how Xavier Woods done got, well, King Woods, because the match was going on. King Woods done got so good with that fucking elbow off of the fucking ropes, bro, where he walked the ropes. He walks the tight ropes and then hit the elbow. That shit's so clean, because it's like the Shawn Michaels elbow. And it's called something else, and I don't know why I'm forgetting it right now. I promise you I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I do know the name of it on a regular basis. But just right now, for some reason, all my knowledge on this subject on that move has left the building. But that shit to me is clean. It's as clean as like when Shawn Michaels used to do it, bro. Because I don't care for any other wrestler who do it. So I can't even remember other wrestlers who do. Maybe Dolph Ziggler, because it feel like he steals Shawn Michaels moves every other fucking match. But also, I saw somebody tweet during this match and was like, oh man, Xavier Woods been proving the last couple weeks he a main event guy. I thought Xavier Woods and everybody in New Day been proving that they was main event guys for a minute. Like, you might not think tag teaming is a main event, but let me just give you just a breakdown. Every single time, for one, the only time the tag team championships was relevant for a while was when either the Usos had it or when the New Day had it. They always built up another team to take it off of them two, but it always got put right back on them because those was the only dudes who could keep that title relevant. That's when Vince McMahon realized, yeah, these are top guys because they sell, they draw, they have new shit every week, they feel fresh every week, they know how to keep these titles relevant. As soon as we take these titles off of them and the feud is over and they have to move on and we get a title to another team and they feud, the titles die again. Nobody cares after that, and that's what's wild to me because you beg for these other teams to win because it was at one point in time when people, New Day was probably the only team. For one, they didn't never break up. That's fire. But two, they didn't never turn on each other. That's fire. That's part of the first one. But two, these motherfuckers in the New Day, the only tag team, because they did go through a stage where people wanted them to have the titles off, but they the only tag team to keep that shit relevant now. The Usos and them. And it was even a point where the Usos wasn't even touching that shit and making it as relevant as the New Day. The New Day was putting so many people over and teams would get the ball and fail. They couldn't go nowhere with it. So they put it right back on the New Day. That's not being booked like a motherfucker who ain't presented to you as a main guy. They knew. See, what you gotta understand is the New Day was the tag team that was basically the Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair of that division. Because they were the ones who made the titles relevant every single time. Every time New Day had the titles, it was relevant. They always made other teams feel relevant. But as soon as you took New Day out of the picture, there went the relevancy. So WWE, Vince McMahon and them boys, they view New Day very high. Xavier Woods, Kofi, Big E, they always got big talking parts. They always got big segments on the show. It was at one point in time where the New Day was on the show like 2 to 3 times a night. That's how big the New Day was. So maybe you don't see the New Day or you wasn't seeing them as stars or main event guys. But Vince McMahon and the company definitely was. Now, if you want to try to separate that and say, oh, well, that's different because they was in a tag team, not by themselves. I mean, I guess cool. But the New Day are never really alone. They are always in a group. It's just one guy goes for a certain title now. And the way the WWE figured out how to do this without ever having to break them up is just a big respect on the parts of the New Day, Kofi, Big E, King Woods, now Xavier Woods, and Vince McMahon and all the creative and everybody involved. But dope match tonight. Went out the ring. My boy Roman gave Woods a fucking uranagi on the announcer table. I thought that shit was gonna break. But towards the end of the match where Woods hit the elbow off the rope and was going for the pin, the fucking Usos popped up out of fucking nowhere, bruh. Like, these motherfuckers just popped up like poof. They was there from under the ring, I guess. I guess these motherfuckers were just chilling under the ring all night or something, bruh. No clue where these motherfuckers came from. But they popped up and beat the shit out of Woods, bro. Like, they took a ladder and just started ping-ponging this motherfucker's head off of it, bro. The shit was hilarious, bro. And at the end of it, he was Xavier Woods after it. Because they took the crown. Roman bent his knee, waiting to be coronized. I think that's how you, I think that's the word. Waiting to be throned or kinged. I don't fucking know, man. But they put the Usos was arguing about who was gonna put the crown on him for one. That was a nice little touch. And then they both said, we both gonna do it. And they crowned my boy. They crowned my tribal chief, our king, our head of the table, head of all tables, King Roman Reigns. Oh man, felt so good. And the crowd was feeling that shit too. The crowd and people on Twitter was feeling that shit. Roman is a draw, bro. Roman the biggest fucking thing in the WWE, bro. And I just be sitting back thinking to myself, I know Vince say to himself, man, if I should have done this shit sooner. I don't care what nobody say. Fucking Roman Reigns is the biggest thing in wrestling right now, bro. And it's like he said, motherfuckers in other companies can talk and all that. But if they could be the man in WWE, they would be the man in WWE. It's as simple as that. And right now, because when you the bad at WWE, that means you the bad at wrestling. And Roman Reigns is the fucking bad. Roman Reigns is the fucking bad. Speaking of the bad, bro, Charlotte had a line in her promo that she cut tonight that I was like, man, she really set herself up for that one. Because listen, I really hate to say this shit too, because I don't want nobody to take this some type of way. But Charlotte was like, everything go Becky fake and blah, blah. And I knew what Becky was going to respond. And just like clockwork, Becky got on Twitter was like, you talking about fake? You talking about somebody with fake? And I was like, boy, she talking about them titties. She talking about them titties. Charlotte really did walk herself into that one, man. Charlotte, listen. It's Charlotte's body. You do whatever the fuck you want to with your body. All these females, you do whatever the fuck you want to with your body. That is their body. I have no problems with that. I'm just talking about the context of this promo. I was like, Charlotte really walked herself right into the barrel of a shotgun on that when it basically said pull the trigger. That was you can't crack jokes that can come right back at you without even a hesitation or a thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as Charlotte said that, I was like, fuck. Becky finna talk about them titties. Like, I was like, man, bro, you cannot cut a promo that can immediately backfire in less than a second, bro. Like, as soon as them words left Charlotte's mouth, I was like, them titties. Wasn't them titties fake? If I know it, I know Becky gonna say something. I like how real this rivalry feel, but God damn, I was like, Charlotte, what are we doing? You come on, man. But other than that, man, it was a good episode of SmackDown, man. It was probably some shit that I forgot to talk about, like Baron Corbin and all that shit. And it was a good episode of Raw, even though I didn't get to see the full episode of Raw. I had to go back and watch Raw in bits and pieces. I like both episodes. That's what you should take from it every time. If I really don't like an episode, like I said, I'll tell you, bro. Like, you ain't gonna have to guess. I will start off the show by saying, yo, this shit was whack. But it's very rare I do that. It's very rare that WWE put a full show together that I don't vibe with, bro. Because y'all got to realize, bro, I be high as hell watching these shit. So it's hard for me not to vibe with something that I'm watching when I'm high, because I wouldn't have watched it if I didn't think it was going to, if I thought something was going to fuck my high up, I wouldn't watch it. And matter of fact, within the first couple minutes of me watching, I could tell if it was going to fuck my high up, bro. That's not going to happen. I done sat and watched the whole fucking episode of Main Event, bro. Come on, man. The fucking Ascension was on. Like, come on, man. I just burnt myself with this fucking lighter, bro. But yeah, man. Charlotte gonna have to fix the promo skills, man. You can't be cutting promos on yourself unbeknownst to you, bro. Can't be doing it, bro. You can't load somebody else's gun for them, bro, when you in a battle, bro. Come on, man. That's exactly what my queen did, man. But Sunday gonna be lit. Survivor Series, I should be watching, and I definitely should be have a full breakdown. Now for Survivor Series, I'm gonna have a full breakdown, match by match, everything that happened. I'm gonna have a full breakdown for y'all on that one. So you ain't gotta worry about that one. That's gonna be a full breakdown, and I'm probably gonna enjoy it. But I appreciate y'all for joining me, taking time out of y'all day, night, afternoon to listen to me ramble on about WWE wrestling, Raw and Smackdown. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, afternoon, or night. Tell somebody you fuck with them. You dig? Saint out.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado, free smoke. Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver, pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga, that's what we do. No foundation, we don't build no